All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So in this video, I want to talk about the bodybuilders I was most impressed by at the Olympia, and the bodybuilders that I thought were most improved from their last showings before the Olympia. So the first bodybuilder I want to talk about here is Vayer. Vayer deserves some credit here. He was heavily criticized by almost everybody after his New York Pro victory, mostly for conditioning. Some people the calves, some people the chest, but I think it's noteworthy here that Vayer was significantly improved at the Olympia from a conditioning standpoint, and he ended up placing 7th. So he was not only top 10 at this Olympia, but he was on the pretty much the better end of that top 10. Even though he didn't make top 6, I think this placing surprised a lot of people and was a lot higher than even myself predicted he would place. I want to give Ian credit here because he was very impressive. He impressed the hell out of me with this package that he brought to the Olympia. Specifically, his conditioning. It was next level, and it was noteworthy here how much improved he was. Because keep in mind, before he won the New York Pro, he lost the Tampa Pro to Hunter Labrada. At the Olympia, he wound up beating Hunter Labrada because Hunter took 8th. So Ian not only visibly showed improvement, but from a placing standpoint, beat someone that had beat him before. So he objectively showed that improvement from a placing standpoint. So not only subjectively looking at him saying he looks better, but objectively beating bodybuilders that prior had beaten him. So Ian definitely deserves credit here. Now, specifically, my 2 favorite shots of Ian are these. First of all, his front lat spread. I really like Ian's front lat spread. I don't know what the reason is. It just kind of reminds me of Dorian Yates, just kind of the look of his front lat spread. Gnarly when his conditioning looks like this, vascularity, detail, and striations in the chest. His legs look a lot better here than they looked at the New York Pro. I think Ian looks fantastic here, and I think this is one of my favorite poses for him. It just really shows off his physique in a really ideal way. Now, if we go over, I think he looks really good in his side poses. I prefer Ian's side tricep to his side chest. Look at this side tricep shot. And again, I think Ian not only improved on his conditioning, but his color here was much better. He had a perfect amount of like the shiny, like the oil on his physique as well. So he didn't look too dry from an oil standpoint. You can see, look at all the detail in his chest, the vascularity and detail in his shoulders, detail in his tricep. I really like Ian's side shots here, and that's one of the things that impressed me most about his Olympia appearance. Some of the side shots just looked insane. Now, of course, in this video, I can't show Olympia footage because they are pulling any footage of the Olympia off of YouTube, so we got to go off just pictures alone from now on. But I do hope you guys appreciate the Olympia coverage that I've been giving you guys, and these photos are from NPC News Online. And again, I think Ian deserves a lot of credit here. He got criticized at the New York Pro for not looking as good as some people expected him to. I think if we're going to criticize bodybuilders online, we should give them credit and praise them online when they do good. And Ian did fantastic here. I think this was a great showing. I don't think he could have placed much higher this year than 7th. It would have been a stretch for him to get in that top 6. This was a very competitive top 6. But that's going to bring me to the man that placed ahead of him, Akeem Williams. Akeem Williams, I think, blew everybody's mind. I don't think anybody predicted Akeem Williams to be in their top 6. Akeem wound up in 6th here. He got some great comparisons, some great callouts with Bonac, with Hottie, some of these guys that are known for their crazy conditioning. He was right there in the mix, and he qualified for the Olympia actually by winning that Chicago Pro earlier this year. And I think it was just a few years ago maybe it was like 2016, that Akeem was dead last at the Olympia. He was like 15th place just a few years ago. So a massive improvement, moving himself up into the top 6 again, breaking everybody's expectations of where Akeem would place in this lineup. Akeem has always had the size to be able to hang with these top guys, but the question has always been, A, his conditioning. He was very inconsistent for a very long time with his conditioning, and also he's got kind of thick skin where it looks like he's got a film of water over his physique, even in those times where he is in really good shape. So Akeem just appears to be in a place right now where he's starting to figure out his physique. Winning that Chicago Pro, he brought a much more impressive package than he typically does. And I'm excited to see the future of Akeem Williams and where he starts placing, if he can improve upon 6th place at the Olympia. Some people were making the argument, I think it was Mark Lobliner, I saw a video, he was making an argument for Akeem placing over Phil Heath. So Akeem has been doing a really good job of raising the bar for really the expectations of what he can accomplish. And like I said, Some of the back shots, man, his back looked insane. He has every bit of the size to hang with these guys, like I said, especially from the back. His back is nuts, but it's really a question of can he consistently bring in conditioning that can be competitive along with his size that is already competitive. I mean, in all honesty, Akeem really does have a very underrated physique. I mean, not only is he big, but he's relatively aesthetic. I mean, he's got a pretty small waist. He's got a really wide upper body as far as his shoulders, his lat flare, his front double biceps. All these shots for him make him look really, really wide up top. He's still got a small waist. He's still got a V-taper. He's got pretty good legs. From a size standpoint, he's got really good legs. He just needs a little bit more separation and detail on him. But Akeem, I think, is extremely underrated because people were so used to him not coming in shape that when he finally does, I don't think people were ready to see how good he really did look. Now, the third guy that really impressed me in men's open bodybuilding was Hunter Labrada. So Hunter, this was his Olympia debut. He just turned pro like a year ago. He did his first show just a couple months ago, the Tampa Pro, his first pro show. Immediately won that show, qualified for his first ever Olympia as a rookie in the IFBB, went straight to the Olympia, and not only did he do well, but he took a top 10 spot at this year's Mr. Olympia, which is extremely impressive on his part. Not only was he top 10, but he was 8th out of 16 placing. So he was on the upper half of the bodybuilding spectrum at his first Olympia ever. And some of the names he beat included Dexter Jackson, who took 9th. Dexter Jackson, this was his last Olympia ever. Living legend, former Mr. Olympia winner. For Hunter to beat Dexter at his first Olympia ever, that deserves a lot of credit. Hunter really did well here. Even though he wasn't top 6, even though he wasn't necessarily in the conversation to win the show, keep in mind, this is Hunter's first Olympia. And it's safe to say they're already putting Hunter in the mix for some of these really good callouts at the best bodybuilding show there is. So I think it shouldn't be understated how big that is for Hunter and for someone making their first Olympia appearance, because let's think about this. I mean, maybe Phil doesn't come back next year. Maybe Phil retires after this. Dexter's gone. That's 2 places that are now gone from the top 10. Hunter could move up just 1 place just from Phil being gone. Now he's almost got a shot at the top 10. At the top 6, that would put Ian in 6, and that would put Hunter in 7, and that puts him in the conversation for being first call out at the Olympia. Some other names that Hunter beat at his first Olympia ever: Juan Morel, Regan Grimes, Antoine Vaillant, Max Charles, Sung Cho Lee, Lucas Osladil, Justin Rodriguez. These are other guys. Some of these guys are guys that won shows to qualify for the Olympia as well. These are top-level pros. Everybody at the Olympia, they're the best of the best. Lucas Osladil, also a great bodybuilder. Crazy conditioning that Lucas brings. Hunter beat a lot of seasoned bodybuilders in this lineup. He didn't beat a bunch of nobodies. He beat a lot of big-name guys, and again, it shouldn't be understated. This is his first Olympia. So those are the 3 guys in men's open bodybuilding that really impressed me the most with their placings, with the look that they brought, with the physiques that they brought, with the improvements that they made. Specifically from an improvement standpoint, I'm talking about Ian and Akeem. Crazy improvements those 2 brought. So give this video a thumbs up if you did in fact enjoy it, and also give it a thumbs up if you want to see me do this for the other divisions as well, like Classic or 212. So give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed yet already. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.